are getting into our first game right here. We have our teams ready and lined up. Cut the Grass versus Moona, Fanclub, the 3rd and 4th seeds in their pool in a very important game 1. And hey, we just talked about that H3.
Here it is.
There it is, as we called it out. But that's the vanilla H3. That isn't quite what I thought we would see.
That's very interesting. I don't think I've seen one of those like at all since Bursty, the very beginning of Splat 2.
And the reason why we don't see it a whole lot, of course, is it's very nice to be able to have an armor bot. It's very nice to be able to combine that armor bot with a pretty nice sub-weapon as well. But missiles have gotten a little bit better here. We always say that if you can stack up missiles, it can feel a little stronger. But they're running Baller on top of that. Trell is going to be on his trademark K machine as well. And they've actually got it going pretty well. They might know something we don't.
Definitely. Right now, we do see more of an advantage situation for Moona Fanclub. The Puya Bomb is coming out. The 52, that's a huge point sensor. That's info on everyone. Right now, the bubbles are coming out from the side of Cut the Grass, from this pencil roller. 2 down situation, and this should be capped for Moona Fanclub. The misses are coming out also, and that's the jump out that should basically.
And I love the way that they spread themselves out there, because that the defense had to, in that case, Green Team had to spread out as well to deal with it. And when you get 1-on-1, but one has bubbles, you have to back up. There's no option here. I like that the K roller used that to move in and was able to push themselves back in there very forcibly. And I'm curious here, very nice, caught one, overextending. This is going to be an easy cap. That's 3 specials being used. The one special that they did not use is going to be this splashdown, sort of an anti-special, really. I think in one of those last events we had a counter to see exactly how many splashdowns actually landed, but I feel if all you're trying to do is land with it, it's not really doing its job.
Definitely. Splashdown is one of those specials where it's more of the threat of, you having it is more of a threat than you actually using it. And that might sound really cliche or whatever, but Splashdown, it doesn't really land so much, but it honestly forces people to have to redirect its attention whenever it happens. Otherwise, they will just take massive damage and get splatted.
Right, and their specials will take massive damage too. It is a fantastic option against really most of the specials in the game right now, especially since the buff came in. But speaking of massive advantage, the lead is going to go back the other way. Very nice here. It does appear that they have taken it back, so that sometimes can swing based on you throwing lots of specials here. So I'll ask you another question here, Ross. When it feels like the game is just going back and forth and both sides are throwing their specials to retake zone, how do you stop that and turn it in your favor?
You need to be able to find the opening on the person that's going to be exposed, because if everyone's using their specials, there has to be one person that still has to reposition to be able to use their special. So if you can cut that person off mid-rotation, you can basically turn a fight that was pretty much neutral, a neutral situation, into your favor.
Take a look right here. Trell moving up here, marked. It's so risky to move up when marked, but I think that the backlander just faded back a little bit too early there. I thought there was an opportunity to get the punish. They need to get this cap here. 14 seconds can go by in a blink of an eye, and when you have 2 specials being used on the zone, it's that much more difficult. I'd like to see Raptura maybe get a pick here and gets called out isolated, but nobody was able to take up the splashdown, and just in time. Very nice job, Cut the Grass, keeping their lead, at least for now.
That was a huge play from Raptura, recognizing that the Dynamo was behind the block and wasn't actually able to get an angle on him to get the splat there. Splash and disconnect. The zone does actually get capped. Now we're spectating Moona, who has this bomber shot already. Could opt to use it, but Raptura getting such a huge pick. Unfortunately, the baller does come out, and somehow everyone's going down on zone. This H3 right now, getting so much value of these point sensors, just giving so much information to their teammates.
Yeah, and again, getting Raptura down really early was huge, because Raptura has been the main slayer right now, and at that point it just became separating them, and they didn't have enough paint left. Now Reason's going to have to make a really big play. Great down! The Dynamo actually got the pick right there. That was exactly what you talked about, Ross.
Yeah.
One moves forward to force him by the sponge while someone crashes in from the right side. You called it out, and we got to see it, but now's the big point. Reason needs to back up here. Great job getting behind that wall as well. They're going to get set up. Look at the map control. Look at the spacing here. They're going to be able to call out where they are. Trell moving up. Very nice pick. That's going to be the end of their penalty. They might get this.
Definitely. If Trell can get the splashdown line or can get pick on one of these players, they're both one. Unfortunately, the splashdown doesn't go off, but he does get taken out mid-animation. The Charger's getting pressured. The Dynamo's still alive. It's a 3v2 situation. This Dynamo has to try and get on the zone, but unfortunately, they're under the map right now, and I don't think they're able to paint the zone here. The roller's going to get the pick on the landing, and that is going to be the flip. The Dynamo's close to Booyah Bomb, though. Oh, but they go down.
That was so frustrating right there. You said right there, 2 people 1 hit away from going down there. Trub was almost able to make the huge play, but you got to finish your food, man. There is such a fine line here between defense and the opponent taking it back, and now we have these bubbles. They're just going to be thrown out on that left side to make sure that nobody can come down for free. That Booyah Bomb not going to be nearly enough by itself.
Dynamo right now trying to move in, trying to find an angle. Has to try and paint the zone here. There's 10 seconds left. The bomb rush is going out. Right now, the roller does go down. The splash zone is going out. Rapture is by himself. He does get a pick somehow. He goes, splash zone does go down. He's going to try and contest the zone. If he gets to pick up the Dynamo here, it's absolutely huge. Rapture gets 2. But the Dynamo goes down in zone. This should be it. Oh my goodness.
What a clutch play here, and Umbre is going to come in here, but Rapture with the clutch play. Take a look over there. He gave himself a little fist bump. You know that fist bump when you just did the dang thing right there, and he needed to get that pick onto Rissa there. I think that Rissa maybe should have stayed back just a little bit, painted up, and allowed the Dynamo to come up and take that down. Rapture was the only one that was really left that was a threat at the zone at that point, so I think just forcing Rapture back in that situation might have been enough while the rest of the team respawned.
Definitely, but also at the same time, Rapture hiding behind the wall so he doesn't get by the splash and be able to right after just peek around and punish it after it lands. So smart. Very, very smart. That was honestly the crucial point in that entire game.
Just like the micro things that can change a win. Because again, that was only 7 seconds that they had left to get through on that penalty. That's not much. That's, again, like what? The time doesn't move exactly as it does. Like 7 seconds on a Splatoon timer is not 7 actual seconds. It's closer to like 5, I think, something along those lines. So it changes very, very quickly. Speaking of changing quickly, we will move on now to Blackbelly Rainmaker. What are your thoughts on this one, sir?
Blackbelly Rainmaker, the infamous 1-point meme map. It's not over till it's over is the saying for this map. I think that's where it came from this.
It is. I mean, what's the old cliche? No lead is safe. Yes. I think that's it. No lead is safe. A lead is actually a disadvantage. Not quite, but this is a map where things do change really, really quickly. And I do love the changes that they've made to it compared to what it was in Splatoon 1 and at the beginning of Splatoon 2. But this is still a map where you have to be careful because there's a lot of different ways you can push. And more than anything, there's a lot of different ways that you can pressure the opponent when you're pushing.
Definitely. This map has a lot of curves and angles and really tight, narrow passageways where you actually have to push through. So if one team can just zone with bombs for like, I don't know, like probably 10, 15 seconds, that could be enough in itself to stop the push without even actually splatting the objective holder.
And I want to say, Luna, maybe? Do you think we'll see Luna?
I can see it.
See it? Yes! Well,
I
was going to say we've now both asked for it. We'll see if any of these players are kind enough to give it to us. But the Luna Blaster, one of the blasters that recently got buffed. Blasters have not had a lot of love recently as a blaster user. Both of us blaster users here, we are of course very sad. But this is a map where you can make it work because you do have that geography that we talked about. A lot of curves, a lot of ledges. You can make it work on this map. No blasters on one side, and it looks like we won't see it on the other side. K-Machine makes it awfully difficult to pick up a blaster.
Dynamos?
2 Dynamos, man, we haven't seen that in a hot minute. Is this Splatoon 1 again?
I know, right? Is this Urchin Underpass?
Oh gosh, don't remind me, but very nice right now. It does look like Cut the Grass is going to get the early pop. Map control here from that pop. There are a few maps I feel like getting the early pop is really, really nice because you can get some big control off it. You see right here, they're going to use that pop in the specials to essentially control mid here at the start. They do get one pick here. That might be enough to feel confident enough to go. But it looks like, I believe that was once again the K-Machine, I think it was, that snuck behind and got it right there. Great work. They're going to take this pop and run it the other way.
Vanessa right now just trying to make sure no one else is behind them. I think the call-out does come out. The Bamboo is stuck behind them. However, the Rainmaker is pushing here on the right side of the map. The flanking Bamboo.
I was going to say, I can't believe the Bamboo got all the way out. You said it right there. It was called out, but the Bamboo deceptively quick, especially when it has a little bit of map control. And now this is a great spot for Canonix to come in. Canonix has been playing this weapon forever. He was using this back when everyone said it was horrible. And he does look like he has to back up ever so slightly. Maybe should have positioned up. But it's tricky, right? Because I feel like the Dynamo, the Ballpoint, and the Bamboo all kind of want to occupy the same space. And here on Blackbelly, there just aren't that many spots where all 3 of them can be.
Definitely, and also, especially grouping up against a team with the missiles is just super, super hard because if you group up, you guys are all just going to kind of get funneled and just get collapsed on. We do see Rissa getting the nice trade. Umbre up top. It does go down to Moona on the charger. Moona does have this ray currently. Trying to look for a shot on someone that looks like might be still in their base. This machine trying to be a little bit sneaky, but Vanessa does get to the spot, does get the pick. The armor does come out. And I think they might just let the Rainmaker stay here and reset. However, the blue bomb is coming out.
Yeah, that's a nice Booyah Bomb here, and I'm really curious here. If Trell can pick this up, it looks like C-Slug's barely going to be getting away. But I almost think that with the Ray back in that situation, if Trell could have gotten a pick and pushed up, that might have been a great opportunity to get a push coming the other way. It's one of the dynamics on this map. You can turn a push from your opponent into an attack from your team very, very quickly. Nice job there by Umbre, picking off the Dynamo. Still not a very mobile weapon despite the buffs that it has received. And now they have an opportunity to push down half pipe if they want.
Booyah Bomb does come out. He is pressuring this machine. This machine is forced to reposition. However, I think he's running last-ditch effort if I'm not mistaken, so we can kind of just throw these Vizzies for a long time. The double splash don't trade. Nice pick. Nice double by Trell right here. Trell trying to get super aggressive here. They do have a major advantage. Has to push the Bamboo, but the Bamboo hits a nice clutch two-tap onto the Rainmaker, and now just trying to build missiles, trying to just delay this push.
And do you agree with Trell being the one that's been picking up the Rainmaker?
Not particularly.
I know sometimes just necessity, like someone has to pick it up, someone who's close if you want to get a quick push. But I feel like it's imperative here that Trell is pushing forward here because we talked about it. None of the other weapons are really conventionally aggressive weapons that can push up. You can certainly space around people, but if the opponent is simply sitting back, throwing bombs, and being nice and steady, I feel like it's very, very difficult to get a push started if your frontliner is the one that's carrying the Rainmaker. So we'll see here. They still have some work to do. They've done a decent job on defense, but I'm not sure how they're going to get a push started the other way.
Umbre right now in a position next to the Splasher, has to be careful. He is very low right now. Nice Rainmaker shot to help him get out of that situation. And back to what you were talking about, who wants to grab the Rainmaker, I honestly feel like that maybe the Dynamo should, because I think Stingray is super, super helpful for pushing here, because everything's super narrow. You can kind of just wave it back and forth and get a lot of value out of it. And then also allows your Slayers to be super aggressive. But we do see the armor coming out. The middle situation, the Busy Bombs are getting thrown to top mid. They might be trying to let the Rainmaker reset, but nice pick by Umbre on Ursa, who was trying to rotate. And the Charger does have the Stingray currently. The Dynamo pushing up. Trell does spot it.
Yep, I was going to say that's a very, very ambitious push up by the Dynamo. But see, that's why we talk about this comp is very difficult. Like, the Dynamo moving up, it almost becomes a necessity here because there's nobody left to move up. And if you want to pressure people who are sitting back, but then all you need is one person who's properly positioned around what the rest of your team is doing, and you can play that defense. And honestly, it feels like both of these teams are content to mostly sit back and play defense right now and wait for the opponent to make a mistake.
Yeah, I think that's actually what is happening. Right now we do see Cat Onyx with this Bamboo trying to pressure their half pipe. However, two of his teammates do go down. He does get a nice pick. He gets a nice double. Very clutch shots by Cat Onyx, so very good job by him. Does happen. Nice pick on. Remember that was in their spawn, and now I think he's just gonna push up here and try to pressure.
Yeah.
He does spot one guy to the left.
Yeah, and that's Trell here, so this has really been the thorn for them right here. But Gatonix is in a situation where he's going to be able to pick out anybody, but it does look like Trell was able to win the outright 1v1 there. The rest of the team is going to be back for defense, and this is the moment of truth, Ross. They don't have much time. I think that Trell went around the side. No, I think that Trell's maybe rotating over a little soon. I don't like all four of them being next to each other here.
This could be very bad, however. Do they spot the flank? I just saw someone on the flank. He looks like he did rotate back. Vanessa popping the armor. Trell trying to get the Rainmaker a different way, but he does not see the ball point. And Umbre with the smart repositioning.
Yeah, like, I'm not alone here when I think that something there wasn't quite right. It looked like Trell was going to go on the flank right there, opted to come back here to the center. They were all positioned together. Then Trell grabs the Rainmaker, and instead of going where everybody else was, he opted to come back to the center, but this is just too mobile of a comp to go up against to run into that. Of course, Umbre is going to be able to rotate out and get the pick there as we saw, but I feel like there was an opportunity there if they had opted to either send Trell around the side at the start to break up that defense and keep 3 in half pipe, or if they had just opted to stick half pipe. But I think maybe someone didn't quite call the shot. There was just a little disconnect there on that push.
Definitely. It looks like there was actually a lot of miscommunication there, because I feel like the call was push half pipe, but then I think he got scared by the Fizzy Bomb spam, so he decided to rotate to middle, but unfortunately Umbre just had the sense of mind just to be like...
Ball point's pretty good. Can we agree that's all we'll say?
Yes. Ball point was ball point.
If you are not aware of the ballpoint niveau, you will be very much aware of that weapon by the end of this event.
Definitely.
But that was, again, a pretty good game here. Both of these games have been very, very close. I know this is the 3 seed versus the 4 seed, so we're expecting to see that. But both of these games, we have seen Moona Fanclub get leads in part of it, and then Cut the Grass has just opted to come back. And we're moving now to Tower Control Wahoo World. I think that your team very, very good on Tower Control, not just because of that set, but I feel like that might be your best overall mode. What makes a good Tower Control team?
A good Tower Control team is really a team that can understand when to cycle in and out of who's running the tower, who's around the tower, where you have to be positioned, and also a good team also understands how long you have to rotate to those key points of power. On this map in particular, the top left is super crucial, and the top right of middle.
I think you and I were actually talking about this as well.
Yeah.
It was one of the earlier sets. I believe it was Magistrate versus. I do not remember their opponents. My apologies, but you talked about how, in this case, their Ballpoint Nouveau player was just a little bit late getting onto the left side.
Yeah.
They were setting the beacons, but you put a premium on that because that gives you sustained pushes and sustained pressure.
Yeah. That's one of those things with Ballpoint. It's a really fast and mobile weapon, but you also have those beacons. Those beacons are like the one thing that's keeping it down from kind of just running over everything. And the reason why people don't just say, well, why don't you just use the other one, is because beacon is just such a valuable sub. Nothing can recreate a beacon.
I love that. Besides a teammate. But then again, if you're Ballpoint, you can move up there and take advantage of that too. So certainly a very versatile weapon. We are going to see some slightly different comps here. We actually see the return of a tower control favorite right here that Rapture is using. The Kensa Undercover Brella, the Kunder, as some will call it. But it really is difficult to deal with once it is on the tower, of course. It does have that ink armor. It has the torpedo. And it, of course, has a Brella, being that it is a Brella. But it just becomes very difficult to displace once it gets its teeth in.
Definitely. Kunder's one of those weapons, whenever you're fighting it, if you're fighting a good Kunder player, it's like, why can't I kill him? It's just such an aggravating weapon to fight.
You
just
see it
like
right
this
there.
situation, it kind of just can back up and engage from any situation that it wants. Poke with torpedoes. Right, like we're seeing on Rissa right now, this Kunder just controlling this left side of the map, getting so much poke and pairing out really well with Catonics right now.
And I think one thing, too, to kind of build off what you're saying right there is a lot of people say that aggression against Brellas isn't necessarily a good idea. I think you just have to be decisive whenever you fight a Brella. If you're going to attack it, attack it. Get somebody else there, throw a sub, something along those lines. You can get through a Kunder shield very quickly, but you can't be trepidatious about it. You have to decide, okay, we're attacking this, we're getting rid of it, we'll go from there. Otherwise, you're just going to trade paint. It's going to build armor faster than you build your special, and it's going to continue to control the space, which is what it wants to do. And that's what we've seen so far. Even though I know it's not a big push, it's a great shot by Moona, we have seen Cut the Grass be in control from start to finish.
Definitely. And I think it's mainly because just they have so many little poking subs, so much map control, so much space denial, especially by this 96, which is a very unconventional weapon to see nowadays, but it does actually have that splash wall, which is kind of an area denial sub. We do see Umber now poking at the Booyah Bomb, trying to stay around the corner from this Charger. Does spot a couple of players, is wisely backing up right now, waiting for his teammate Rapture to come. And now I think with the pick on the Dynamo there and with the pick on Moona, the push should be starting.
And as we start this push here, you talked a little bit about poking. And for people who aren't familiar with Splatoon, what does a poking situation look like? What is a poking weapon?
A poking weapon is basically any weapon with a lethal bomb that can instantly splat an opponent or that can give away their location. So point sensors, splat bombs, burst bombs, suction bombs, torpedoes. Torpedo probably is the best for poking.
Right, because you can see them. It points them out, but it's low commitment and low commitment, high reward. There's nothing wrong with throwing a bomb to learn where your opponent is at, especially if you're not in a firefight where you can get punished for using half of your ink tank to do it. And I think that is very difficult for teams, especially pickups, to deal with, because I feel like the way you get past those poking neutral situations is decisiveness, going in, and sharp execution from a teamwork perspective. You can't always do that if you aren't familiar with your teammates. And right here we've seen Trell has been on this side trying to hold this down as long as he can, but I think his opponents is fine with that, saying, okay, you know what, you stay back, we'll keep throwing bombs. You may pop our bombs, but we're taking tower, we're taking mid.
Was that just 5 torpedoes in like 3 seconds?
Let's go, Rapture. Keep throwing them. I love it. I love it. It's what the weapon is good for.
There's still, actually, what just happened was, I think they just collapsed on the tower. Umber, actually the last member alive here, in the middle of a 1v3. Probably shouldn't have peeked that.
I was going to say, that was cheeky, especially running into, just running into a sniper too. And we talk a lot about the relationship between Ballpoint and Charger. If the Charger can hit its shots, it's great. And it made it that much easier to get everybody who was jumping back in. This entire push has happened because they jumped into Umbre and got punished heavily for it. The push is still going on, and this entire time we've been talking about how good Cut the Grass has been at controlling things. The second things get out of control, the push starts to come the other way.
I think the reason why this is happening is because Dynamo is a very very momentum-based weapon. When your team is pushing, when you have the map control, Dynamo can almost do everything. Just like that, he does get a nice pick on the flanker. Even like they can't really approach the Dynamo. How do you approach Dynamo in this situation? Nice shot from Moona around the little corner in between the crack between the walls. Right now, you do see Moona on the tower, does get poked up with a torpedo, has to stay alive. Umbre does get the nice crossfire there. However, 3 of his teammates are down, and
beautiful work right there. A round of applause. That was the first time that they had gotten on the tower in a serious fashion that whole game, and they immediately convert it into a 100-0 push. I completely agree with you that the Dynamo made the difference, being able to sit back and put all of that pain, and the KAs tell the story right there. Great work from Vanessa. All they needed was one attempt.
Definitely. Dynamo, just such a area denial weapon, and since it can hit such a big radius, and such it can like also poke from a very far distance with its vertical fling, it's very, very, very hard to approach unless you time yourself properly.
And they didn't have a ton of weapons that could deal with that either. Definitely. It almost seemed like once the Dynamo got set up, the only way they could do it was maybe to try to throw a bomb at it, but if all you can do is throw bombs, that means you're not dealing with the tower. You don't have the ink to deal with the tower in that situation.
It's like, in that situation, they're like, should I throw my bomb at the tower, or should I throw my bomb at the Dynamo? And it's a very, very, very hard decision, because on one hand, it's the objective. On the other hand, if you don't shoot that guy, he's gonna get you.
Right, and the objective's going to keep going. So, I mean, in that situation, you just have to take a moment to pick one and then deal with it very quickly. We talk about decisiveness, and that's why you talk about communications, but I feel like communication and shot calling are two different skill sets.
Yes, definitely.
Communication can be anything. It can be telling where you went down, where an opponent is. A shot caller says, we're doing this.
Yes.
And it either gets done or it doesn't, but at least we know what we're doing. And I think in that situation, you have to make the call to do one thing, spend whatever resources you need to, because anything is better than letting both of them stay.
I know when my team scrims, if we're fighting like a Dynamo or a Hydra or a Charger, I make the call, throw bombs at him, do not let him play the game.
I love that. Don't let him play the game.
Don't let him play the video game. It's just, because if those weapons get set up, it's just so hard to disposition those weapons. So you have to make sure at all costs they do not get set up. So you can at least focus your attention on not just that weapon.
Well, and I mean, I think generally when people talk about those weapons, I hear the term turret a lot. It's something where when it gets set up, it's done. Like, its whole game is to get set up in that position. If you prevent them from getting there, you're fine. The weapon can't do as much, but as soon as it gets there, it is very, very painful. We're going to move on to our first Clam Blitz map of this set. It is going to be Inkblot Art Academy. This is a classic one a lot of people do. It shows up a lot. I think the term that gets used a lot is this is a caveman strategy map, where at some point, all of your resources have to go onto the opponent's plat. You're going to push up and be aggressive. Let's see what these teams opt to bring. We have a junior on one side.
Kensa Charger.
Kensa Charger. Why would they go with that, Ross? I know you use a few chargers in your day, too.
I feel like Kensa Charger is just a really, really, really good weapon that can sustain a push. So when it gets rushed and people have to drop on it, it can just baller, panic pop, and just basically be like, go away from me. I can explode at any time. Right now, though, we are spectating the Charger. He is getting poked back by Umbre, trying to pressure the roller, but there's a 2-down situation, 3v2 in the middle of the map for his teammates. I guess there's 3 down, and
a lot of fireworks here at the center of the map here. Not a lot of clams being gathered. We do see 9 on the side here of Moona Fanclub, but it does seem like right now they're really trying to put a premium on getting rid of the Charger, but that really allowed Trell and the rest of the team to move in and clean them up in that situation. Katonix is going to get taken down. Now you see the Dynamo is pushed up on what we call the right block there, and I really feel like controlling that is a big, big part of making sustained pushes on this map.
Yeah, if you control that right block, you can just get so many different angles of just vision and pressure onto the opponent, and that it just makes it really, really hard to move anything off there without basically overextending and fully committing.
And that's really the name of the game. Get the opponents to overextend, and if any of that touched them, we both were like, woohoo! But it is going to be a nice, fortunate situation. And Umbre is just having a terrible time right now. The rest of his team doing okay. They don't have enough clams to make it, and this is a lot of time they've lost. They will get a score, but will it be enough here? If all they get out of this is just that one power clam, that is going to be a very unfortunate wasted opportunity, and it does look like it's going to be. We say the comfortable push in the first one is past 60, because typically if you go down at the start, the opponent's going to have one power clam, and they get what we call the pity clam coming back the other way. It does look like they were able to maintain map control, though, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah, I think whoever made that call of just score, no one else full commit, is honestly MVP because they were able to hold the middle of the map by themselves. However, their roller player on the side of Cut the Grass does go down. Katonix does use the missiles. It has to watch out for the Charger, has to watch out for the Dynamo. In the middle of a very sticky situation, Vanessa does get the nice pick. There's a 2-down situation on the side of Cut the Grass. Advantage for Moona Fanclub. Honestly, I thought they were scoring from behind there for a second.
Yeah, I was very, like, whenever you hear that noise, because it's the same noise when it gets built and when you toss it as well, so it's scary. And a sneaky roller there, very nice from Sleeslug. Good job letting that not get worse. There was an opportunity for 2 or even 3 going down. And now we do see Katonix on this side, not letting them take control of that block for free. They are going to have to rotate back. And this is the frustrating situation where you have enough clams that you can make a push, but you aren't exactly sure who you want holding the clams or how you want to make the push. And a lot of times it just creates a situation where you don't get a lot done. And you see right here, they have had the clam lead for quite a while and haven't been able to do anything with it.
Yeah, in a lot of situations, a lot of players in general are just like, I don't want to hold the power climb, I don't want my position to be given away. But people also do always forget, whenever you're holding a power climb, you're constantly gaining specials. So, on one hand, it might be giving you away. On the other hand, it also helps you build up for a push. Right now, we do see Katonix in the corner trying to get something done. It has to back up, though. People are there to pressure them. The bubbles are going on the plat. Umbre does with the clam. The Dynamo does go down. This is the time to push, but a nice shot by Moona. It might actually secure the stop here. Nice double. Nice shot. I didn't even see that guy.
I was going to say that was really nice. Great job going over there. They need to clean this last one up and got a few more points than they probably needed to there, but I think that could have been a lot worse than it actually was. Some great shots there by Moona to close that one down. But this is really the point of order right here. The last time we saw Moona Fanclub have a power clam, they did nothing with it. They actually had 19 clams for a while and weren't able to even make a pressured push. So we'll see if they are. They're using the classic jump into the baller strat, but this is stoppable on land if they're clever.
Oh, that's a huge splashdown. Unfortunately, the Junior is there, but the Junior has to go down. The clams are going to come out. They did somehow save the score.
Full wipe. They're going to lose the lead, and they might lose a lot more. We said it's stoppable on land because of that. Cut the Grass said, let's go in and stop it. But that is when you use it. The classic strategy right there. Oh, my gosh. Trell, such a smart play right there. Saving that for as long as possible. Now backing up, playing defense, throw those fizzy bombs. The job has been done for now. It is going to take two power clams. It's essentially going to take 2 power clams if they want to take the lead. That's going to be the easiest way to get it done.
That entire push happened because that splashdown buff in the most recent patch. I remember I was screaming FT win once. Shat came under me and did that. I was like, there's no way it's going to kill me. And it just, I was like, what? And then I was like, oh my goodness, the splashdown buff just happened.
It added a little vertical leap, and that missile.
That's so big.
That is big, because you see right now, Rissa here has control of the center as well. There's not really a reason to do anything right now except for continue to doing exactly what she's doing. Throw some walls out, paint, find somebody there, get another one. Why not? 10 seconds left. Look, they don't even, like, 4 clams right now. There's so much that needs to happen for them to even get the chance. Katonix is going to need to pick them up, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Trell finishing the job that he started right there. They are going to go into overtime because they are sitting on the pity clam here, but all they have to do is keep them away from it. Rapture is going to try to make a miracle play here at the end. It's not looking too good.
You just have to rush it at this point. This is do or die moment here. You don't have time to wait. You have to go right now. The timer's about to go up. Will he make it there? Unfortunately, he's just unable to make it there.
No, and again, Moona Fanclub, not the best at creating openings, but once they get the opening, this is 2 games in a row that I feel like Cut the Grass, for the most part, has been in control of the map. They've been in control of whatever the resource or the objective is, but it only takes 1 big opening, and you see Trell right there at the top with the 15 splats and assists. That splashdown opening up the whole thing.
Did he get 3?
I think if it wasn't 3, it was definitely 2 and damaged the last one, because you saw after Trell had gone down, 1 went down to like a gust of wind or something. They were so weak after that too, because they were still 2 up after that splashdown landed, I do believe. But in any case, just fantastic work right there to put all of it there. They didn't have a lot of conventional breakthrough specials. They had the baller that went in, and then they splashed down to the baller, and that was really it. It was just those 2.
Is this their first game 5 so far?
It might be. I think there was, there might have been an earlier set, but I know that this is certainly the most hotly contested of them that we've seen between 2 very closely matched teams.
Reverse sweep, it might happen. Where's the broom?
Every land. I didn't bring the broom.
You didn't bring the broom?
I didn't bring the broom.
Oh my god.
You can't use the broom for the reverse sweep, though, unless you held the broom upside down.
We're on to something.
I was going to say. Might have to make that work. There's got to be a closet somewhere around here. But we're moving on to Splat Zone's Piranha Pit. I've heard that this This is a very, very good map for the long range. Spacing people out, I have known a lot of T-Tech mains, and even back in the days where where some of the other dualies were really strong, people would still switch to CDS here just to control more map. One day, one day, it all comes back around. But this is a map where I feel that, and we've seen this map has received a lot of different study. People like to look at how a lot of different weapons affect it because it's a very unique map. There aren't many maps that are very, very long and very, very flat.
Definitely. Oh, this is, in my opinion, a ballpoints playground. There's the perches that it can set up on have just great vantage points. They can practically hit something from anywhere, from where you want to push from with those vantage points, and also those two things that people call useless, or the bottom left or the bottom right of the map, that are kind of off in Neverland. If a ballpoint puts a beacon down there, it's no longer useless.
Right.
It's suddenly, we have to go deal with that, and it's like, I'm not even kidding, a 10-second, let's go over there, destroy the beacon, come all the way back, and by the time you're all the way back, the other team has advantage again.
Exactly, and we have seen so often here, again, well, this map does get studied, even something like a Tentabrella being down in that area, you have to deal with the Tentabrella, but how do you deal with it? How many resources are you willing to spend, and what are you sacrificing in order to deal with that? So, useless until it's not useless. Yeah, it's useless until someone's down there and you can't deal with them by yourself. But let's take a look here at the compositions. The K machines are going to stay on the K machine. Umbre going to stay on the ballpoint like you talked about there. And then Dynamos, man, these are going to be two very difficult zones to take if there are two Dynamos on perches.
We do see the armor coming out early here, but it looks like his team is playing the machine. Does go down here. One pick by Slug, but unfortunately, I wanted to see him lose.
I thought we were going to see the Dynamo crush something in tournament play, and I don't know that I have ever seen that, or at least not in this game.
Well, right now pushing up, but the surprise curling bomb from Tonix, very nicely placed, perfect charge. Looks like he does see the right. It's going to pressure it. It does get the pick on the right here. Does see the Dynamo. Nice flick onto the Dynamo there. It does have the missiles at the ready, but somehow Umbre went down somewhere in the map, so some call came out. He's going to pull with missiles, going to do some scouting. Looks like he's going to miss the top left, and the Splashdown does get charged just as easy.
I like putting it out there, too, because you see that one of those specials had to get used very, very early. The Dynamo's going to clean that up, no problem. You talked about this being the playground of the ballpoint here. Zillard himself has told me that this is the best map by far for anything related to the Bamboozler family, and we have seen it right here. So much room to move around, and missiles are so good here as well, because, again, this is a map where people do have to spread out. It's that much easier to hit them.
Was he fall off? Oh, we're not going to lose. Char now has to be forced to move in, but he can't approach a Bamboo because it's a Bamboo. Looks like he's just a bit too scared to actually approach him. Nice pick by Rapture onto the charge of Latrell with nice positioning once again behind the wall, just to make sure he doesn't take any damage from the splashdown. Rissa right now trying to build that Booyah Bomb. About halfway to that Booyah Bomb, the armor does come out from Cut the Grass, pushing in. Unfortunately,
I'm not sure how that missed.
How that happened. Nice shot on the Tonix. Unfortunately, does miss Umbre here, but I think with that shot in the path there.
I was going to say, that's going to force them all the way back here. They're probably going to be able to get this. I'm not even sure they needed to spend that Booyah Bomb, but it's been spent, so that's it. And what a huge shot onto Sea-Slug. If that had missed and Sea-Slug had got that pick, that was free ramp, and that was going to be control of one zone for no special cost.
Tonix once again getting another nice pick, but that 52 is about halfway to Booyah Bomb, so that was probably not the best time to go down. They do spot the Dynamo, has to pressure the Dynamo. Right now, Terrell really close to the splash. We do see the Booyah Bomb from his teammate coming out, and the Stingray. Really good use of specials here. Is able to collapse on the Dynamo on the left side. And you see both the quote-unquote anchor weapons are complete on the far right.
Very nice. And you said it right there. They're so far back, they're not able to contribute, and that's what those specials were able to do. You may ask, why did they spend both of their long-range specials? It was to separate them so that they couldn't come together for plays. Raptura might have done enough there to save it. They need to get Raptura now, and they're not able to.
They get him in the zone. That's going to actually paint the zone. It means Trell. Oh, the Dynamo!
This is so tight right here, and this is why this is such a scary map too. Every two-zone map, I swear, ends up with a situation like this where both sides are scrambling to just paint something, anything on the map, and it does look like it's going to go back the other way, but they've got a lot that they have to get through here. That's almost 40 full points of penalty.
Yeah, Umbre really close to the Storm here also. Once he gets the Storm, if he can get value out of the Storm here, I think that this might set up for the lockout situation, but we do see the Booyah Bomb and the Stingray coming out at the exact same time. Katonix trying to get something to happen with the armor, but just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Umbre did use the Storm. Katonix is super close to these missiles here. If he can get them, this might actually set up for a lock situation. Does pop the miss, was a very risky shot. He got so lucky there.
He did, and wow, what a way these guys, they're going so crazy right now. Nobody's giving the other team any respect. A full set
Rissa.
of... He hit the
Rissa got
flick!
2!
He hit the flick right there, too. There has been no semblance of respect this entire game. They're just going in and running.
It's a 1v1 in the middle of the map.
Between...
The machine wins it. Trell right now coming so huge for his team. That 1v1 may have actually secured the game. Unfortunately, somehow, some way, the Charger did get flanked from his team. Has to win this 1v1 with Rapture. Rapture is super weak. Nice direct by Trell. He's about halfway to the splash down. If he can splash down, he can jump off the top of the rail and he can actually land in the zone, instantly cap the zone. There's no way to stop it if the splash down tries to go down.
No, there's none, and I don't understand why the Dynamo opted to go back to that side. I would have liked to have seen the Dynamo stay on the ramp and pressure this zone in particular.
Huge trade!
That is a huge trade. That's the Dynamo gone, and Sea-Slug's in a great position. Rapture needs to move up right now and take out the Charger. They forced him back. Paint the zone. You gotta paint the zone. Keep moving up, Rapture.
Rissa gets the pick. They have to paint the zone right now. This Dynamo has to somehow paint the zone. The Bria Bomb is... Oh, no! The misclick! Oh, no! Okay, so right now, we do see Moona Fanclub in the disadvantage situation. The Bria Bomb is actually able to assist on the kill with the Dynamo there. The Fizzy Bombs are coming out from the left. Moona does think they spotted the player. The Bria Bomb is coming out onto the zone. Tonix is pressured onto the right side ramp here. Umbre in a great position to hold this out. Does get the pick on the Rissa, but the Ray has to force him off. If Umbre goes down to this right here, this could be very problematic very quickly. But the Dynamo in the spot. Dynamo's in the power position. Oh, what?
The Dynamo in the power position. You said it right there. And the end of an amazing set. So many moments that we can talk about there. But at the end, you saw Rapture have the opportunity to push up and take out both of the backliners there. He was able to get the backliner, and Rissa was forced back. That was just enough for them to hold on to it. But that was a fantastic set of Splatoon. If all the sets we get to commentator like that, we could retire after this. That is... What a fantastic way to start this, and congratulations to Cut the Grass. It was looking very scary there, but they do hold on for the victory. Great work to them.